What's happening, guys? Today I wanted to do a video to showcase the history of the Super FX chip, which was first introduced in Starwing in 1993, and this bad boy, wow, what a difference it made to the Super Nintendo. And I believe that it was that chip that boosted the life of the Super Nintendo well beyond what the predictions originally were. And the game's 24, let's take a look.
Good luck.
Now, some of you may know that Starwing, or Starfox as it's known in North America, was developed by Nintendo in partnership with Argonaut Games, and it was Dylan, who was an Argonaut employee at the time in London, that had developed a game called X. It was a Game Boy game that was exclusive to the Japanese market, that showed three-dimensional wireframe kind of technology, and it was the Japanese that were very impressed by that and wanted to utilise that 3D technology in the Super Nintendo. So, in typical businessman-like fashion, Jez-san, the head of Argonaut Games at the time, had various meetings with Miyamoto and his team in Kyoto in Japan, and eventually the whole of the Argonaut staffing team were moved to Kyoto to work on Starwing and to utilise and to develop the Super FX chip. Originally, the chip was codenamed Mario, which I believe stands for Mathematical Argonaut Rotational Input-Output Chip. Now, I tried to break my cart of Starwing open, but I didn't have the tool. I tried an old trick where I was melting a pen to try and get the screw out, but it wouldn't work. But this is what the Mario chip looks like. There were two kinds of Super FX chips developed. Initially, the original, the Mario chip put out, I think it was a 10.5 to 10.7 megahertz, which again amplified the 3D technology of the games and really pushed the hardware of the console. I'll put a list of games on the screen now that utilised the Super FX chip. There weren't that many, surprisingly, and that's because the cost of manufacturing was quite high compared to games that didn't utilise the Super FX chip. The Super FX chip 2 put out a 21 megahertz capability, which improved things even more. So that would have been using games like Doom, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. So you get that kind of 3D rolling sprite effect that looks incredibly nice. Just cast your memories back to the introduction of it was the title screen of Super Mario World 2. That the island, you know, panning around, it looks absolutely stunning. I believe that if it wasn't for Argonaut Games and Dylan Cuthbert's technology and expertise, the Super Nintendo would have had a decreased shelf life. And for me, I think the main differences between the Mega Drive and the SNES were definitely around the Super FX chip and the colour amplification. Absolutely incredible, and you know, it really did enable the SNES to linger when we transitioned into the 32-bit era of the Sony PlayStation. Okay, so what I want to show you guys now, I've got Super Star Wars here, so this game doesn't obviously use the Super FX chip, but if we pop out Starwing, you'll notice on the bottom that the SNES games with Super FX chips do have additional contacts, whereas non-Super FX games don't have any additional contacts whatsoever. And well, this is the reason why I believe you can't use Super FX carts in adapters, Game Genie, etc., because they don't suit the additional contacts. So if you're ever unsure, I mean, always, you know, games always have the Super FX label on anyway, but you can always tell by the additional contacts on the bottom. And I thought that was a kind of quirky fact. I'm not sure if anybody knows that, but that's why. Because I remember as a kid, I always wondered why they were there. And obviously, doing my research for the Starfox 2 video, that's what surfaced. So just after the mid-90s, the Super Nintendo, you know, it wasn't in shops as much anymore. Production had ceased, and Nintendo were making way for new hardware and software for the Nintendo 64. But fortunately, the Super FX chip got us to 1996 and beyond, and I'm really happy it did, because it's a fantastic piece of hardware. And I don't know, guys, if the Super FX chip hadn't have been created, would it have had such a strong footing in the console market back then? Would it have been what it is? It's a fantastic console that uses 3D capabilities in its games, What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. So that's it guys, that's a brief history of the Super FX chip. I'm the Games24, got loads planned for games we never knew, loads kind of top 10 videos coming. Please check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and juicygamereviews.com is my blog. And that's it guys, thanks for watching, rate, comment and subscribe. Take care.